Hello, this is KRBrickBot, and I decided to ship over a new shipment while I'm at it. Yeah, a bunch of more Sirtoys stuff. Let's get right to it. Let's see what sort of miscellaneous stuff I got this time. More Carbots. This is one of the things I was looking forward to get the most. Yeah, these are 4 Carbots, which are in fact upscaled helloka봇 minis. Only 4 of these. Storm, Ace, Born, and Meister. For some reason, only these 4 and not the others. But yeah, that's really unique. Perfectly upscaled minis, like these minis that are not officially released in one market were just released as upscaled in China. And the fronts are die-cast. Die-cast hood gives these little cheapo toys a little more premium. They're almost deluxe car size, but just slightly smaller, so yep, perfectly upscaled Carbot minis. I guess there's only a few differences in paint apps, like Ace has a black bumper instead of a silver one in the middle, which I don't quite get the color breakup for the official one anyway, and this upscaled Storm has a little bit more of paint chest going in there. These are official. It says copyright Choi Rock and Entire. So yeah, these are official upscales. Yeah, you would think knockoff companies will only do upscales, but yeah, somehow Choi Rock and Entire decided to do this. And for the build, I think they're actually a fairly good quality plastic. The innards might look a little cheap, but not super Chinese cheap. Ooh, also plastic hinges on his shoulders here. So, but you know, upscaling tiny little legend things don't exactly look that good sometimes. Also, why did they have to give Born an extra screw crotch? I guess at the moment, this Meister and Born are the best official deluxe-sized Carbots for these characters. Still a little short compared to even the shorter deluxes of the day. I don't know, might work for old man Meister, short elderly guy, although I'm not sure how accurate that is. Yeah, but you know, the lack of detail in these straight up upscale minis just kind of, you know, contrasts the more sophisticated deluxes. But I guess I'll take what I can get right now because I really like to have my Carbot in deluxe size and not always a leader size. But as for Ace, yeah, this unobtainium is the best one. As for upscaled Mini Storm, being a truck, he should be bigger than the others, but not really. So this kind of looks out of scale with this. So I think it actually scales pretty well with the other mini cars. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Like 4 small patrol cars and 1 massive truck. Kinda similar to the on-show scale, at least in vehicle mode. Because I'm sure the Combiner Pentastorm is actually not in scale with each other. But Storm might feel a little too big in bot mode. I don't know, somehow the mini version of bot mode seems more scale accurate. I mean, if you don't care about scale, this could work perfectly fine. Like 1 big leader, vehicle mode, and then he just suddenly shrinks in robot mode. Yeah, let's go with that. But I think this will be a bigger and better base for a 3D printed Pentastorm upgrade. Yeah, imagine that. But I might be screwed literally because, of course, this thing was never intended to combine, but I figured you could kind of cheese it by unscrewing the mini's head after removing the pin, so you can kind of get that hood in the 4th position. But of course, with the upscale version, they kind of fused a few parts and also made it really hollow. Oh yeah, it was always hollow, but you know, it's more noticeable when the hollowness gets bigger. But no screw hole, the head is fused with the torso, so if I ever want to reorient this, I'm gonna have to really re-engineer some parts. Or just slice that head off, which, you know, not really desirable. It's another Carbot thing. This definitely doesn't look like it transforms. Sirtoys' unofficial name is NTF Carbot Knockoffs. And these are adorable little simple action figures of the Combiners Mecard and Carbots. These are official product. If you see the stamps on the back of the legs say 2021 Toy Rock and the entire made in China. But the good kind of China, I guess. Of course, these don't transform, but they do have the basic, very simplified detail, like the wheel, like round shapes. They're not so much vehicle features as they are like the shapes and cuts that imply a vehicle mode. Yeah, just all sorts of simple shapes that imply the truck front here and the various car bits and the armaments of the, like the claw and the blaster thing, as here like the shield and blasters. I mean, it just has circular things that look like wheels, as with the size of folded bus. Only and a small hint of helicopter on the shoulders. Tiny little propeller, but Mecard gets a full little tiny little propeller on his back. I guess you can plug it in his hands to, yeah, for a little rotor accessory, little pinwheel. Helicopter! And another main gimmick is, like, it has lights. Basic lights. Yeah, just press the button on his crotch as with his original toy and the chest lights up. And nice crystalline texture. For K-Cops, just press his chest directly. Nothing else. As for articulation, it has like the head swivels, shoulder swivels, and side to side mid swivel. It's not quite bicep swivel, it's not quite elbow swivel, it's like bicep swivel without the elbow. And nothing at the legs. The legs are pretty stiff, so I guess they're kind of charming. They're like retro style articulation, like just this is really peak G1's style articulation. So these are very reminiscent of the Transformers Action Masters. So I guess, you know, these are like unofficial Action Masters. I guess I kind of like they just made these in an Action Master style, just simple, big, non-transforming figures, but still this good quality plastic. And I suppose they could be good little shelf representations or just a little simple kids plaything. I mean, they're not combining, so these will hold together in a toy box. So yeah, simple things for kids to play with or a little display piece. And unless Toy Rock actually makes transforming versions and a new price point for helloka봇 Mini Combiners, I guess these will have to do as the Legends mini scale Mecard and K-Cops for the little guys. This is a China original transforming toy line. Yeah, I normally don't want to go for the Chinese original stuff because there's only so much. I'm focusing on Korean stuff, but this does have some ties to a Korean toy line imported from China to Korea, so I'm gonna take a look at these. I would like to get more, but I'm not sure. Ooh, I didn't order this. It looks like Sirtoys gave me a bonus Miniforce figure. Yay! So, this is the Sirtoys bonus Miniforce Super Dino Power Tyranno Thunder, a non-transforming version. Yeah, so the backpack came separate for little dino wings. And it is actually a pretty good, comparable high-quality plastic to the typical Asian Korean toys. I don't think there's any aesthetic changes. The thing that was the most notable to me about the design is that his chest kind of looks like those old Lego Hero Factory pecs. But other than that, the articulation, shoulders in and out, bicep swivel here, wrist swivel, I think that's new for this particular one, the head swivel. No wrist swivel for this Dino Launcher arm, that does not function. Hardly any forward because of the hips in those very diagonal hips in the way. Hardly any back. Full splits. No knees or toes. Oh, come on. If for some reason you're just gonna make a downsized, non-transforming version, what I would have really liked to have to be maximum efficiency in articulation. Even some articulation, there's no articulation. And it even has pinned wheels, when pinned wheels really would serve no function for this particular action figure. I mean, this is a weird oddity. I guess this is meant to be like maybe a budget toy. You know, I wouldn't mind having large, non-transforming versions of famous Korean Transformers if they were hyper-articulated, just focusing on being an action figure, but this is not even that. No knees. But now I'm kind of tempted to get the other two in this non-transforming figure set. But that's going to be kind of tricky to find on AliExpress. That's not the main retail transforming version. Ah, heck nah. And more of the same series of certain might be licensed Carbot KOs via Wattlist. Yep, and there's the other mini. No, wait, no, that's the Chinese one. That kind of looked like Miniforce for some reason, I thought. Wait, in my forgetfulness, I think I might have ordered 2 sets of these. Okay, 2 identical 6-packs instead of 2 different 6-packs. I ordered like a forgetful dolt. So one of those 6-packs consisted of a Storm, Fron, Dandy, Sky SWAT, Ace Rescue, and Hawk. Last time I looked at what was like a 2-pack of just regular Ace and Hawk, but I guess they just repackaged Hawk for this 6-pack. I'm still missing these versions now, and I'm not sure how long if they're going to be available if I ever want to complete this collection. You know, these certain versions of Carbots with their big off-road oversized tires look a little off, but I guess with Storm, and with his 4 wheels instead of 8, I guess this actually looks decent. It's like some sort of off-road monster truck, dump truck carrier thing. And somehow it looks like it has a thicker back than the official ones. And a better grill. It's just a better downsized grill than whatever this stylized grill is for the minis. Transformation, yeah, that's somewhat similar, but I guess somewhat different. Yeah, the toes, okay, just get the tiny little toes in there. Ball socket is really tight there. Yep, there's the little arms. Yep, there's Storm's robot mode. This one is just a downsized version of the bigger toy and has a few more paint apps, but they're mostly incorrect paint apps. And just really simplified in all the other places. While this one is an upscaled miniature and has reproportioned body proportions, but this is better quality plastic, of course. I guess because of how this front piece doesn't actually fold back, so to let this thing stand perfectly upright, it's a little angled. And I guess his shoulders are in a really weird place. Yeah, look at those low shoulders. Look at those low shoulders and those backward bending arms. Yeah, that's even worse than just stiff plank arms here. I mean, yeah, as limited as these are, these look better. These not so much. Loose knees, I guess. It actually looks better if this was like a Pentastorm Combiner configuration, but this doesn't combine. This little Fron, that's totally not an Avante or an Elantra, with a weirdly blue plastic center just for the hinge or such, and some holes in the top for some siren lights. The thing is, roof is on the hinge for ease of transformation, I guess. Yeah, these tiny little holes, tiny little tabs, they're not the best feeling. They feel so fragile. And you see here, they look like they're perfectly sized for like Deluxe-sized Carbot, but it's just that the mold is just so cheap and simplified. Look at those long hollow legs and disproportionately, even though it replicates some of the key details on the larger toys. Like the inside of his legs and his chest. And yeah, those weird under lopsided arms. And some weird paint applications, like, I guess that's so little yellow paint it ends up looking like green. And yeah, that's kind of Fron's head, but hollow, and then somehow it's just been squared out too much. So, and I guess his head is just literally right in the front of there instead of just sunken back in there. So that's why it looks so off. And yeah, and just a flap of cable. I mean, what can you do about this for this small cheap thing? This is a dandy little, really big wheeled van. I guess this also looks okay for a van having big off-road tires. What's not okay is the really flat bumper and just slightly, it looks like it's raised, but I don't think it is. I mean, the bumper is just does not flow with the rest of the body. And yeah, and unpainted plastic back here. I think it transforms in, I think they all transform in pretty much a similar way as Frawn. Yeah, just complete 180 on the legs, flip out little feet. Little shoulder down, and nothing that's done about this roof kibble, so I guess he just has a roof over his head. Car hood over his head. I guess this is kind of like Mini Dandy in that the secondary colors take up the primary plastic colors, which really makes it look a little off. It does have some extra paint in the green and the white and the red. Why red? And it's orange on a white face, so kind of evokes it, but yeah, but it still looks a little off, and it gets a little lanky and also lopsided. Yeah, all of the carpets are on the front, and therefore it kind of looks a little unbalanced. It is unbalanced. Sky SWAT with those oversized off-road tires, half rescue, half regular, but instead of all rescue or all regular. That's a little frustrating. But yeah, I guess it kind of replicates the general shape of the old Hyundai Veloster. Yeah, it is pretty nicely detailed for what simplified this is. Even has SWAT helloka봇 police. And it does have the unpainted back, but at least the plastic colors are relatively similar. Transformation. The parts forming hood as usual. No, except this one is actually required and not just optional, like unlike the big one. Yep, those long leg extensions. Those are some stiff shoulders. Ooh. And yeah, this one folds all the way to the back, I guess. I guess you can do it like this. But flat. I guess just due to the fact that this design is just simplified and it has a slimmer torso, I guess this does make Sky a little more feminine. Some other oddities are, she does have the dark bluish gray unique colors. I mean, even for a cheap toy, I mean, I'm impressed that they actually got this kind of shade of color right that's accurate to her original toy. Might be a little bluer, but yeah, it still looks pretty good. Fake chest. There's the cable, there's the chest there, they just, no flipping down, it's just a hood there. And yeah, this is just a handheld shield, but although it doesn't look good for this simple thing, so I just prefer to just plug it in the back like this, so some weirdly shaped kibble, but shame, no heels. Why don't they give these things heels? They're part of the No Elbows Club. These might be kinda not good, but at least the accessories kinda make up for it. These are perfectly downscaled toy versions of their bigger accessories, down to the little connector tabs that really won't serve any function for these all new molds. But as they're 3mm, it can be a good accessory pack for other figures. Water Bloosh. Yeah, I mean, these might be a little bigger, but Giant Axe. Anyone wants to buy these? A different version of a Mighty Guard. A smaller Ugaba. And Gold Rex. And Jet Ren. And finally, another Carbot assortment. Here are some more deluxe-sized Carbots, but I don't think these are made by Entire. So as you can see, this was actually a 5-pack consisting of the Trio and RT and Born. They kind of all look off. So yeah, it looks like it's officially licensed. Right there, that's the official logo. But I guess this was just made by a different company. You know, because I guess the Chinese helloka봇 brand has lower standards than the Korean toys. Let's see how low quality these are. This board is looking more like a bootleg Hyundai Genesis Coupe. It looks like it has more of those faithful details, just downscaled than whatever reinterpretation the mini version went with. Redder headlights. Yeah, but it has those cheap wheels, and also, of course, it's not going to feel as weighty and rolly as this one with its die-cast and pinwheels. but this looks a little more accurate. What about the robot mode? Oh, it looks like it transforms very differently from what I'm used to. There's a head there. Is that it? Is that it? For whatever reason, this company decided to reinvent the transformation for his upper torso. His lower torso looks the same, but yeah, just simplified, flip chest over. But sorry. Look at those tiny little arms. Those really super stubby arms. Those are ridiculously stuffy. And you know that really ugly hood flap head reveal just by the mounted on the side of the hood and not like no actual neck. It's super hollow there. At least he has his swords, and they're actually 2 ports unlike the bigger one, so you can actually hold him like a sword, so provided you can get him in those tiny little holes. Yeah, there. And if you want, you can give him a roof shield. Now Born joins the Roof Shield Club. This is officially licensed, but I guess it's just meant for really cheap dollar store things. And it has to transform. Hey, look at that. Just by unscrewing the head and putting it in a more natural position, it looks like a more competent budget Carbot Born. Now, if there was only a way to extend those super stubby arms. Here's RT and his Nada Sonata. It's looking a little too wide. And those red headlights are a little uneven, and they're spread out too far. Yeah, that looks like really cheap black windscreens, and also, oh, unpainted back. Really unpainted back. Okay, let's see how this thing transforms. Wait, what? Oops. Oh no, that's super cheap hinges. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. If that looked wrong, then you'd be right, because this is an RT that transforms exactly like a jet red. Okay, why did they do that? Just give it a transformation scheme to a different Carbot. I guess, I don't know, maybe it's a jet red pre-tooled mind, although that may not be actually the case. But I guess all the cars have the same general shape, so there's only so many ways to reinterpret it. But why did you give the jet red transformation scheme to RT, huh? It's kind of painted in gold, really ugly face. He still has flapping chest pectorals for no reason this time. He has no forward, but he has thigh swivels. And he has no sword. All the other guys get accessories, but he has no sword. And by consequence of his transformation scheme, no shield. This might be the worst one. I mean, yeah, this is probably the worst one. Worse than that Born. Well, then again, he has proportionate arms, so not sure which one is worse. Here's the Carbot Trio Knight, who was looking a little oranger in his red. Yeah, it's that not Lamborghini. Very simplified, just no green, no sort of only black. Yeah, because it's cheap. Transforms in just about the same way. Yeah, legs down. Yeah, like it's like 3-step changer. I guess Rook looks pretty much like a downscale version of that large toy. Pretty perfectly. With its weird off-center wheels and the pretty friction wheels. Looks like there's a little bit of a hollow molding spot here, and there's only the top painted sirens, but other than that, it looks okay from the vehicle mode. Oh no, his chest don't hinge along with the rest of the body. That's pretty bad. Slider rails. Unlike the hinged ones. And Pawn, this orange car. They're very close shades, but not quite. Nice painted blue headlights, at least. And the black windscreen, yeah, this is okay, but no flip out shoulders for this one. But yeah, it's a bit of a latch here. Yeah, so compared to their official mini versions, it's no contest. These are really cheap. Only the black paint and some gold paint on the torso and red for Rook. But only the top of his head. I don't think that's even accurate. And I guess they're at least as articulated as their bigger one-step changer toys. Just the arms, super floppy shoulder here, and nothing at the legs except the side splits. All of them can do the side splits. Yeah, I guess it's just as, yeah, they're deluxe size, but they're limited as one-step changers, but they don't have any spring-load steps. So yeah, that's really just a cheap copy. Also, if you see why he didn't put the boomerang weapon in, is because Pawn's hands were just molded too small. Their holes, it looked like they weren't widened out enough, so he can't hold it. Completely useless. Not even 3mm. And of course, no weapon storage. So maybe at retail for about $15, which would make them $3 each, which is appropriately priced. What's probably not appropriately priced are these Season 3 Deluxe-sized Carbots that Sirtoys was selling for $10 each. I think these were single pack releases. Okay, I'm gonna start with the best one in my opinion, I guess. Autobots transformation was very simple, so there really is not much you need to do to shake it up, or I mean to simplify a complicated transformation. So we have a fairly faithful Autobot that's okay painted, except no silver faceplate. He does have a head swivel, but no upward neck for, you know, the gorilla pose. No elbows. Yeah, it doesn't look like his shoulder pods are meant to be removable, but they're separate plastic, so not gonna risk it. At least it looks like it's an upscaled mini Autobot, or a downscaled and simplified big Autobot. Let's see how simplified this Gold Rex is. Head out. No opening jaws, seriously. Wings out, tail out. Leg down on only the one hinge of swivel. Still has that ankle pivot. No side to side feet pivot, so that's gonna look a little awkward. Flip that out. Oh no, he doesn't have elbows. That is very orange, only a few bits of black and green painted on there, but his dragon claws are permanently molded into the wings, so there's no extra weapons, even though he has holes there, so he kinda looks more like a little T-Rex. T-Rex arms. Okay, that was trying to say cow with my mouth closed, because... But wait till you see Jet Trend. But first, his car mode is looking okay at least. It has plenty of red striping, albeit thin paint layers. Not much in the front, and there's not even a Carbot symbol molded on there. And a thin layer of paint of headlights. Okay, let's see how this transforms. The legs split in the same way, like it's downward side split. Turn those around. Feet. That's it for the arms. They're just two halves of a car with very thin connection ports that look very ugly. Just flip out the little arms and flip up the little head. Put the little weapon in his arm. That's a terrible looking Jet Trend, I mean, in the upper portions, because what did you do with the simplified arms? This is just... Yeah, look at that, that's two halves of a shell, nothing added to it, just tiny little nubbins of arms. And his chest doesn't split or doesn't get out of the way, so you can hardly see his little face there. The lower legs pose well, but not his top, so yeah, that is a really silly looking death red because of his arms. What happened to his arms? Oh, but we got one more Carbot from Huichao. Yeah, it kind of looks like it's officially helloka봇, but from a really cheap Chinese company. Mighty Guard. A smaller, simplified Mighty Guard. Well, this version of Mighty Guard, it looks just about the same in the vehicle mode, but there are some major differences, major simplified differences. For example, Guard here. I guess it just mostly looks like tacked. It just looks like the same truck, but downscaled and with clip wheels. Those freaking has clip wheels. Slightly squashed in the back so that the crotch area is actually sticking out more. No side pods here. Not even siren lights on the top, and not even stickers. There are stickers here, but not even for those siren lights they emitted. Yeah, I'm not going to be applying these stickers because it's not worth it for these cheapos. Ready and Cure are just squashed versions of their bigger vehicles. Just squash proportion for some reason. Also, Cure is just all cast in black, I guess just because they just got too lazy with paint. And Help is shorter in the tail fin. Without the painted side cannons and a barely functioning rotor because it's just frictioned in. No dedicated piece for actually making this thing spin. At least the rotors are slightly aerodynamically oriented correctly, and it has rolling wheels. So that's the one thing it has over this. Yep, that is a very weird and janky looking Mighty Guard. But it's so simplified that the rotors don't fold in, the back piece is just molded on the helicopter, giving it even more immobile shoulders. And look at those arms, they're just... Yeah, you thought this Chinese version simplifying the car just to have two shells with no weapons was bad, but this is just literally the car with extra bits sticking out of it. There's absolutely nothing here, it's just cars with robot bits in them. What is this? And the legs are so simplified. I mean, like, no panels to fold it down, so you just have these kibbles sticking out like this when you turn the knees, and he essentially has two toes. Like, this should have folded down, but they can't even afford that, so this just has an extra little toe that folds down like this. I guess it has sideways elbow swivels. That can hardly go 90 degrees anyway if you turn it like this, and the super floppy wrists. Actual wrists, but they're just gangly wrists. Not to mention the two plastic color head. That looks so cheap without a painted face, it's just all yellow. I guess at a distance it kind of looks like he's faceless, but there's a face in there. Also completely immobile. And I think it's too big to be a mini Mighty Guard. I mean, it's still a little too big. Sirtoys labeled this as GoBot Wreckers. Although, I can easily see there were Mecard stuff. I mean, this was pretty old. This was a pretty old listing. But yeah, I guess this one thing kind of classified it as Wreckers. Yeah, just this Ledgewood knockoff with some other Mecard knockoffs thrown in there. Okay, I guess I'll look at the Transformer one first. Yep. It's a sickly green. Not unlike gold plastic. Ooh, yep, that's super thinny and skinny. Super skinny and thinny, and I don't want it. So after some creaky transformations later, this is what the robot mode is. That's not Ledgefoot. Yeah, just, you know, basic hands in there, basic hollow hands in there, just super skinny and thinny legs. And this is quite unusual how the hood went over the head. Just, this thing is entirely on a slider, this little torso area. I see right a very obvious screw. You can just slide it up and click it up. And then yet, slide it down, slide it up, then down and up and up. I guess that does make the hood mode more cohesive, but that's maybe a little unorthodox and maybe not the most desirable design choice for sliders. And there's butt kibble held by one ball socket that barely holds on together. This is a turning Mecard Evan knockoff with cartoony eyes and number 96. Yeah, so this is like a Lightning McEvan transformation. Take off the part spoiling spoiler. The part spoiling spoiler and with the parts forming spoiler. I think the transformation is mostly the same as that little junior version toy of the Evan. Oh yeah, for once it actually has some pretty solid tabs, but I think only because they just directly copied the tabs of that toy. Yeah, so classic knockoff colors of blue, red, and yellow to make this sort of Lightning McEvan. Double shoulders at least, so yeah, I guess a little punching action. Yeah, I guess it is what it is. A cheap bootleg of Mecard Evan. I think back when Mecard really hit its peak at its launch. And this is turning Mecard Shuma in maybe some sort of police colors, like prominently blue with some white and a dash of red, kind of like Energon Prowl. And with some superfluous gold painted accents and decals like these black flames, number 5, little flames here, and the car. This is not any car, this is the car. Okay, and transforming is starting from the really unfinished back. Untap here, flip that back, shoulders out. Oh no, the bar socket just snapped clean off, not any friction, huh? I don't know how long that's been like that, so yep, there's that lean and mean Shuma design, like that really speedy type of humanoid robot with a whole bunch of kibble and shoulder pads and those nice lean legs. And I think, yeah, details really simplified. I think they just somehow just elongated the piece of his kibble and just put it all over his face just to get a slightly not infringing head design. Yeah, but that's okay. That might work somehow if this central crest was a little not so thick. Yeah, I'm gonna have to glue this back on somehow. Hold on, are those reversed ball socket arms? So like, I mean, this is like a reverse elbow. The hands are in the wrong way unless, you just do it like this. I guess that's for transformation. It's not even barely 5 millimeters. Eh. Get wrecked, wreckers. Trains. A big car. Oh, I didn't order this either. This is another bonus. Looks like it's a build a giant robot. Yep, this freebie is completely unknown to me. It looks like it's just a build a Tyranno Robo. Seems simple enough. Ooh, very cheap ball sockets. Tail goes here. Oh, this is not even a clip-on. You're gonna have to friction it over here, I guess. And yeah, armed cannons. Big old double barrel gun. Generic Dino Robo thingy. 08 robots. So this is a Dino Gator Bot. It's a Tyrannosaurus-like robot with robot arms and smokestacks. I mean, it's a transformation so simple. It's a costume. Yeah, just make a costume, put a dino chest on in your chest, and then have a hinge on it so that when you crouch down and you look down on the ground, you turn into a dino. I guess this will do as the generic villain robot that's not a Decepticon. As with, oh yeah, this looks like a whole bunch of Tobot V knockoffs. That's a knockoff of Tobot V Wild Chief. And the funny thing is, I don't think officially China has actually ever localized the Tobot V toy line. They're still recirculating the old classic Tobot toy line officially. So I guess some bootleggers just imported a Korean Wild Chief and then just recreated it into this thing, into this really Chinese knockoff oddity I love. Yeah, so it's sizable but slightly smaller than the official thing and losing out a lot of detail, and for some reason it's a six-wheeler. You know, just extended the mudguard to make it a six-wheeler for some reason. I don't know, just to slightly make it less like the thing it's blatantly infringing on. Yeah, it's a very cheap thing. And of course, this thing transforms cheaply. Fold down, and the arms are frustratingly flexing. You got tiny little arms, you just kind of have to pull it out all the way here with no satisfying clicks except for a really hard click. And then, yeah, the arms are just hiding out right here, just flat them down. And then pull out the head. Yup, it has the hallmarks of a cheap knockoff. It has some texture, but for most part, it's been really flattened. Just really flattened textures, and just some of the lost textures just means you're trying to recreate it with just some shoddy paintwork. I mean, some really simple paintwork here. And yeah, and really shoddily applied paint as usual with like all spotty and cheapio. And also like really flat and hollow spaces. Oh, look how hollow this is. This is a stark contrast right there. And yeah, that's a really... It gets the essentials, except it has a painted nose. Oh yeah, and for some reason it has these extra little handlebars that serve absolutely no purpose. And it doesn't really tab in together. It's a floppy mess. It's a floppy, goofy mess. But yeah, this is like a failed clone. This is a failed robot recreation clone. And another really bad thing about this is that the head hardly stays in. I guess it's just by sheer wiggling luck that you could ever get up. Otherwise, it just sinks right back in. Yeah, just have to tilt a little. And you know these things usually are in a legion, so there's like, this is the whole six-pack. The Wild Chief clone in all sorts of colors, like blue, teal, green. A different blue, a different azure blue, teal, and yellow and purple swindle colors. Some with decos and some without decos. Yeah, this is all sorts of crazy colors. Can the Tobot Galaxy detectives solve the mystery of how Wild Chief was cloned into a cheap knockoff army? It's also slightly annoying to transform back. You know, those tiny thin tabs and arms and such. It's also a bit annoying to transform back because with all the thin plastic and the little tabs and trying to just grab the torso and leg area and just friction it just right so that the front half actually smish together. Yeah, but that's how you do it. Whole bunch of six-wheelers. Oops. Looks like this is a little bonus. Looks like the Kinder-Joy style knockoff Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime figure. This is not helloka봇Triton. It's that knockoff version. It's a knockoff version in the same colors. I think the main difference is it has a completely different but less intuitive and less fun way to connect the tail. Yeah, it's just tabs in here, and also that feels really rickety. Yeah, that felt a little rickety. Oh, yeah, that did not feel good. Also, I think his hands are looking a little oranger than usual. I think they were supposed to be 2-color. Yep. Yep. Snap. That felt. Yep. Pain. Creak, creak, creak. I guess the legs are also slightly redesigned here, so doesn't really look like it has good heels this time. Yeah, this is gonna be a balancing act. Yep, and this plastic hinge just popped off. That's cheapo. Ooh, yep. This one looks really similar to the official one. I guess it's just has a few less details, like a single molded pieces, and might be slightly simplified deco. And I think it's a slightly different head deco. I think this is more gold and a single head piece instead of 2-piece. So here's my shattered glass evil helloka봇 dinosaurs, except green Heracles, and one of the colors is almost identical to the good version. A really weird combiner knockoff. This is gonna be weird. Okay, freshly unboxing these construction fakers. Card showing the combination. Yeah, this is a knockoff of Carbot Duke. Some assembly required on those really thin ball sockets. Oh wow, this knockoff doesn't even allow like any arm retracting in the back, so it's an excavator with an arm. Okay, yeah, so this should transform in the same way as Duke. I think the treads are in the wrong way though. Yeah, because this thing has no knees, so it transforms weird. Simplified weird. Still has a butt flap. Turn this around. And there's the weird head. That's a little oversized and oddly painted. Is this right? The ball socket cutouts are in the wrong places, so it can't even spread out properly. You can only move the arm forward and up, or like this. And even the legs are also cut out weirdly. You can only do like a fake thigh swivel. That is a crazy arm. A bootleg of Carbots Darby. Just trying to get that card bulldozer blade in there. No rolling wheels. And no pulling hinges. Yeah, mostly transforms in the exact same way as the actual Starby, except simplified. Doesn't have to worry about elbows or shoulders or sliding joints and knees or extra flip out weapons for a combined mode. This thing doesn't combine. As such, the back has been slightly re-engineered. I mean, the back has some additional stuff added to it. That's something. But it's removable. I don't know. Give it a bit. Yeah, that works as a weapon, right? Or chest armor. Heh. The crane. Yep. There goes the easily detachable kibble that's in one piece. Okay, never mind. It folds like this. Yep. Those cheap ball sockets. And yeah, I guess the crane arm goes here. And that's decidedly a different head design. Spare me some bolts. Starby again, but in a different color combination, and it's a steamroller. It's not a bulldozer, it's a steamroller, so yeah, that's just changing the front makes all the difference. Yeah, there's a more primary gunmetal body. And some cross-swapping with Miniforce X, the dump truck. It's not a Carbot. Yeah, it's just, I guess they're similar brands, so they just mix them up. So yeah, that's, yeah, this looks a little weird, I guess. Big wheels that just get in the way of the arms. Oh, fun. In front of those big metallic painted blue arms, blue hands for some reason. Alright, combine! Fold back the legs. Attach the big chest piece on tiny little tabs. Realize there is no extra crown or extra accessory in this thing. Transform back into vehicle. Tab into promiscuous holes and pegs. Plug the obvious hexagonal holes that aren't even molded to be perfectly straight. Struggle with the hitboxes of a really stiff crane arm. Transform into arm according to the card art. Transform completely into vehicle according to the card art. Generic construction combiner. This is a wreck. Total wreck. Just bootlegging one torso and just making it worse, and then just making robots from stolen designs that were never meant to be combiners in the first place. Not so much limbs as they were just armor boosting or chest attachments, and they just turned them into full limbs, which does not work because they were not intended to do it, or yeah, it was just not enough was retooled to make it actual arms. So also, you know, articulation is terrible because they're not ratchets, they're just ports, hexagonal ports. No rotating, except for, yeah, and the thing just keeps falling apart. Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous and utterly cheap. Just, if you can take any robot and just make them, give them parts that can just make them attach to each other, then it's a combiner. Anything's up for the table. Anything's up on the table. This is a disaster. Tread hand claw mode. Woogly woogly woogly. Attack mode. Just blade slice and steamroll. Attack mode. Scorpion kick. And I just revealed some more of these little assembly kits. Yeah, these are definitely fakers. What are you supposed to be? The Mighty Guard, Action Master. Another of this. A Tobot KO. This is a Tobot Quatran KO, and normally I wouldn't go for these because most of the time they're just bootlegs of minis. But this one actually looks like it was just re-engineered. It was just recreated. So it had similar proportions to the actual cars, and it might be in a scale I might like, and actually no, 132-ish, but still a little too big. Like, yeah, especially this morning. Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be that big. I don't know, maybe this looks okay, but not the others. Yeah, I think the shape has been just generally recreated. Like, yeah, like reusing the same common parts and yeah, just giving the same similar features, but slightly modifying them a bit. And while just leaving some of them unpainted or just shoddily painted into places they are painted. Yeah, like, yeah, look at this. Yeah, this is a T. It's not a key slot, and there's a C here on the unpainted window. Yeah, this is very cheap recreation. How well do the joints hold up to combine, though? Well, yeah, they are on these click hinges, which for a cheaper toy, that's kind of really rickety. Then slide this very loose slider on the back. Very loose, very super loose. Legs. Click that back. Just try to figgle the torso in there. I mean, it is pretty similar. Hey, look, it even has a half of a spring-loaded stoppers there. 360 the head. Slide it in the back. Slide it from the back. I suppose flip out the shoulder joint first and then fold it down and then fold out the big red hand. Same on the other side. I suppose this knockoff Quatran is good enough for what it's bootlegging. I mean, I guess the proportions are on point. It looks exactly proportioned like it, and like with the arms, it even has just about the same articulation as that bigger Quatran. Like it's non-ratcheted shoulders on this one, the inner gorilla elbows. It still never has the forward joints and a slight ratchet in the knee. One click, that's it. I don't think it had any head articulation either. I guess it's a sizable combiner that almost scales accurately with the mainline scale. I think the official Mini Quatran was still a little too small, so yeah, this might be sufficiently big enough. But the problem is it's a KO in the wrong color, so maybe it's not really worth it to put in a shelf collection. More Carbot KOs, Carbot and Tobot KO combo. A 6 set of fire trucks, of 2 famous fire truck molds in all sorts of assorted colors. Yep, but specifically like knockoffs of the Tobot R that are just, you know, been knocked off countless of times, and Carbot Fiant. This is a new knockoff. I mean, I don't think there's never been any official release of this mold in China yet, so another import bootleg just because it's a fire truck. Tiny thick collector's cards. Autobots. Super Warrior. Okay, what is Blue Fiant doing with a big old exosuit mixer arm and big shoulder attachments? What is this? Yeah, this is different. Different weapon, and then green Tobot R with a axe and a different head, and another blue Tobot R with a different head, and then the yellow-orange Fiant. I guess I'll transform this Tobot R with a sticky front, a really sloppily painted front window in the front, and completely new siren pieces that look like they're gonna fall apart. These are approximately worth $5 each. Even I think that's a little too much. Maybe we should have waited to get these things on sale. Yeah, but I expected in a way to transform like Tobot R, but except a new head. Yep, that's a completely clashing head. That's a completely new face-plated but not very detailed head. And yeah, the inherent design was kind of awkward with, you know, the arm just being mounted in front. But yeah, I guess this cheap knockoff version just really exemplifies that design quirkiness. Oh, and no hinge to fold this back. You just have to turn it around or just pull it off to the side. Hardly even worked with its included accessories. Okay, there we go, I guess. Nah, these aren't Tobot R ripoffs. These are Autobots Skyfire, Smokescreen, and Hotspot. Yeah, really cheap, you know, shoddy paintwork, shoddy assembly, and the typical just take off the back of the roof and use it as a handheld shield that's not very tactile. Yeah, and also that's a very unwieldy shaft, so it doesn't even allow it to plug into the back for storage. Unless it literally gets shafted by breaking its storage, and then that works. And the vehicle mode really doesn't connect to this anyway, so yeah. Yeah, that's... yeah, look at that. That's so cheap. Cheap Tobot R clones. And they all come with the exact same kind of axe. Yep, see right there, right in the CG illustrations. Except for the other two, where they have a different kind of axe design, but they're all the same black axe. I mean, look at this pretty ornate axe design. That really does not look like a fireman's axe. Yeah, it's just, these are really random accessories. You know what they look like? A battle axe. Yeah, I can expect Fine to transform the same way, but without any of the accessories or the original crew and these elongated pegs for some reason, and it's slightly directly downscaled. I mean, this really looks like an incomplete toy with all these connectors, but nothing, no sort of accessories that came with it to complete it. So yeah, it's just a truck. That's cheap. That's knockoffs for you. But yeah, mostly the same way, like the detach leg, then the bicep, the arms on the ball sockets on this one, and the flip over. Yep, there's the not Defiant. Honestly, this was a lot larger than I expected. I was hoping this would be more of a deluxe size. Yeah, but I guess it fits in with a smaller car scale. Yeah, maybe this works. Maybe the 124, but not sure if I'm gonna display it alongside this though. So yeah, I think the scale is kind of moved when the toys are not that glamorous to display. Pretty super simplified with no intentions for connectors on the back or on the arms, like for extra accessories or such, and also yeah, really underpainted. No thigh swivels. Hey, but it does have an opening cockpit to store whatever in here, because with that connector strut, that ugly connector strut just right in the middle of the connector cockpit, there was no way they were gonna put a actual crew in there. Hey, this kind of works. Fiant drives a bigger Fiant mech. Yeah, this kind of looks like a mech design. Yeah, so yeah, just unclip that head, and you have a walking mech. Not even a fire truck mech. It's just a car mech. And nah, these aren't helloka봇 Fiant clones in knockoff red, orange, and blue. They're Red Alert, Trailblazer, and Sweep. Again, judging by their card art and the fact they still have these elongated shoulder holes and also some additional hinge holes on the back of their legs or the vehicle top, I think there were some accessories, armor pieces. But I guess that they're sadly not included. I think this is an incomplete package. It would probably be found loose. So yeah, imagine some off-the-wall bootleg company just taking the fire truck robots from 2 competing Korean companies and just making a whole set of 6. And because they're an off-the-wall Chinese company, I think these little cars are the only things they have to go off with. So this represents my latest Sirtoys haul. Some official stuff, some officially licensed not good stuff, and a whole bunch of bootlegs. Modeled after the famous Korean robot franchises. I think I might have gone a little overboard just getting anything that was obviously bootlegged from those. There might have been a few knockoffs I missed. And then again, I wonder if it even is worth it to get all those knockoffs like that no one else was really interested in because they were very obviously knocked off of existing franchises and characters. The bots from which this series comes from is getting its own separate review. So thanks for watching or looking at my multi-review marathon. And we'll have more official main reviews on the way. So until next time, this is KRBrickBot signing off.